We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the.
They want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. John, your host, is here in the house. You guys truly are the guests with the most. There's some big things that have happened today, folks. Big things that have happened today. Let's go over it. Shit has hit the fan. The deep state is out and doing their thing. The fraud is just unfucking believable. Let's get into it. Carrie Lake, who I want to be on the Republican ticket as vice president, has demonstrated that she has moxie and some wit about her. And she trapped Jeff DeWitt, who I now want to call Jeff DeWittless, because he is without wit. He resigned from the Arizona Republican Party chair because Carrie released an audio tape, folks, of him trying to bribe her. Now, Carrie says that she has selectively edited the tape and that there is even, quote, more damaging recording left. Now, here's what I have to say. I think that she released enough to get him to resign and demonstrate to you, me, America, and the world that the deep state, the globalists, right, they have been caught and they have been revealed. And I think she's saving the rest of the tape, and she should save it to ensure it gets a fair hearing in court. She may not have wanted to release it so that when the bad guys are caught, they will get a fair trial. Now understand, she called the people that are trying to bribe her and silence her, she called them un-American fucks in this call. It was great. That's how I would have been talking. I like the fact that people are talking like I talk, because that is the type of talk this needs. Un-American fucks. This is Carrie Lake, who was cheated through election fraud out of the Arizona governorship. 3 years ago in 2020, cheated, fraud, theft. Now, after this has happened, Rhino Republicans now need to beware. Democrats need to beware. I say for this brave work, Carrie needs to be put into the position of VP, because she said she wasn't interested in money. Get this. She said, $10 million, $20 million, $1 billion, I won't do it. So Jim DeWittless, or Jeff DeWittless, let me get his name right, said, look, all we want you to do is just go away for a couple of years, and then you can come back, meaning start talking again. He was just trying to silence her. There's a whole lot of money out there. And, there's a lot of back scratching in Washington, D.C., and she was like, I don't scratch backs. It's an incredible exchange that's been released. And it shows you how dirty and filthy and scummy these people are. They're openly trying to bribe people. You can bet your ass they will pull back on their attempts. They will hide themselves better. Jeff DeWitt resigns. Jeff DeWitt is going to be and should be prosecuted fast and hard. He's a disgrace for thinking he could openly talk about bribery. Now, what do you think about this? As an American, what do you think when someone in her own party, the Republican Party, did this? Well, we've got in Georgia, we have the Attorney General who's supposed to be a Republican. Ratsburnberger is supposed to be a Republican, but he handed over the entire election in 2020 to Biden after stealing it from Trump. And now Fannie Fat Ass Willis is going after Trump, as you know. And she's attacking Trump while simultaneously fighting off an investigation into her wrongdoing, which is screwing an employee. The whole system is really dirty, folks. Really dirty. What do you think? Comments down below. I see this as good news that a Republican has been caught, that a sellout rhino stuck his neck out, opened his mouth, and condemned himself to the gallows. And isn't it interesting, folks, that in the same day, the Republican National Committee chairman, Ronna Mittens Romney McDaniel, guess what? She is now urging Nikki Haley to quit the presidential race, to give up. She says the message from the voters is the party needs to, quote, unite around our eventual nominee, meaning Donald Trump. Eventual nominee or the obvious nominee? Even though she is telling Nikki Birdbrain Haley to quit, she still couches her phrase eventually. Is there going to be a potentially eventual attempt on Trump? Or is she saying she thinks that the lawsuits still could stop him? Is she saying Nikki should quit or just back off and make it look like she's pro-Trump while they try and get rid of Trump? And if they do, and if they're successful, then they can sneak Nikki Haley back and go, look, she supported Trump. She supported him at one point. So my question is Ronna McDaniel sucking up as a consequence of Jeff DeWitless getting caught in getting caught in his own pile of shit? Or is there sabotage in the future for Trump? Is she working on the cheat with the Democrat districts now, going, hey, Trump's going to be the nominee? Get your cheating plan together. I have no trust, folks, for Ronna McDaniel, for the Republican Party. No, I don't. The Republican Party is just the brand you wear to distinguish yourself from the Democrats. And we know most Republicans are a bunch of sellouts, wimps, and losers anyways. They have not demonstrated backbone, spine, or testicles. And I think it's fucking fabulous that Carrie Lake pulled this stunt and pulled it off, got the information out there. A friend of mine asked, oh shit, she's going to get whacked. And I said, no, she can't get whacked now because she has exposed them. And if Carrie Lake dies, then we know it's a hit by the deep state and by the globalists because she called them out. All of them called out. I find it fascinating. I am extremely happy about this. I want to bring on the SHTF consequences now. Woo! Talk about a what the fuck Wednesday, huh? Mr. Uman, one thumb up or two thumbs up on Carrie Lake's move, getting that out in the public?
Well, I'll just come on and give you two thumbs up because, once you expose it, I believe, it lessens the chance that they're going to whack you over it because it's already out there. If if you're threatening to tell somebody about it, like Kyle Cawthorn was doing with the whole sex party stuff.
Yep.
I mean, they may try to silence you just so you can't expose it, because there's still a chance it may not come out.
Yeah, Madison Cawthorn fucked up. He did not name names, and he should have.
Yeah.
Instead, he's now an asterisk.
Yep.
And the Speaker of the House denied him money and sponsored and supported a candidate to replace him.
Yep. So I think she definitely made the right move there, because trying to hold that over their heads as security for yourself, that ain't going to work.
No. I gave 5 copies to 5 different people. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just guaranteed 5 other people are going to die. You know,
Or,
I wouldn't do that to
10,
you, man.
Or 10 just to be sure you got the right 5.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Yeah. You got 10 friends. They're going to kill 20 just to be sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will not send you any evidence like that. Okay.
Okay.
If I get some super secret squirrel shit like that, I'll just put it right on here to the public.
Just put it out there, man, because then it's out there, and it's not like you could take it back.
Now,
I mean, the only thing at that point they have to worry about would be if you're going to testify against them. But with the tape recorded evidence, it's his voice.
It's his voice.
There's no denying it. So there's no benefit in silencing you at this point.
Right. They can go into damage control in other ways, but talk about damage control. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to try to defame her and, discredit her and everything else.
But like Trump, if they had it, they'd have used it.
Yeah.
If they had anything on Madison Cawthorn, they'd have used it. Instead, they just primaried him. They've got, down in Florida, Matt Getz. They tried burning him using a former FBI agent. That failed. I know you're watching the comments.
I'm trying to watch the comments. Yeah.
Everyone fucking behave while Uman's on screen with me. You know who's being controlled, because they run out there to the end of their leash and they bark and bark and bark until they get their leash yanked, and then they go back in their doghouse. Jim Jordan, how many times are you going to threaten obstruction of justice and do nothing? Brilliant guy, must be controlled. Carrie Lake, on the other end, I think is a loose fucking cannon.
I like that.
And if she was dirty, they'd pull her chain.
Yep.
And kind of like Amy Coney Barrett. I don't know what she did wrong, but she did something wrong to sign on to that Texas bullshit. And Justice John Roberts, everyone has surmised long ago, got fucked, sold out, and is controlled. Once you take the money, you're controlled. Whether you're involved in Epstein's Island or not, it don't matter at that point. They got to start.
Well, it's a double whammy too, because number one, then they got something on you, and they could say, "Oh, well, we paid her $20 million to go away for a couple of years, so she's not genuine. She's just in it for the money." And then the double whammy is, in politics, if you go away for a couple of years, everybody forgets about you. So when you try to make that comeback in 2 years, nobody remembers who you are. Nobody's going to give a crap about you anymore. Your career is over one way or another.
Yeah. Even if they play that, my hamster got cancer and I needed to put family first. It's incredible. Now, I know you are not a bandwagon guy, so you are the perfect one to ask this question, Oliver.
All right.
I know Trump's out there and he's going to be the nominee, short of taking a bullet upside the head. And you're not a Trump forever, I love Trump, Trump's our savior kind of guy. Just because he's the nominee and he says nice things and flowery words, right? You're still going to watch him like a fucking hawk.
No, I'll give him credit where credit is due, and I'll criticize him when that is due. And there was plenty of both to go around. Yeah.
Now, with Carrie Lake, I want her to be the VP. I've had a feeling about her from the beginning, and I think I've been saying as much lately. No Vivek Ramaswamy, right? He sounds like Obama. He was a World Economic Forum puppet. He's a multi-billionaire. He kind of reminds me of a Ross Perot, where he's damned if he does, or he wins if he does, and wins if he doesn't. Either way, he wins.
Right.
But Carrie Lake, I think, has the potential to be a real patriot in all this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I always say the last thing we need is another famous person or media person in office.
Mm-hmm.
But, she seems to be legit. I haven't seen anything terrible about her. I don't hear her saying too much of the right thing to try to just generically appeal to the right, like Smarmy did. And,
yeah,
she just seems more genuine.
Right. She seems that way. So I'm going to continue to say she seems like the best VP candidate for me. I can't think of a better one. Since the question gets asked all the fucking time, who do you think should be the VP candidate? Trump says apparently he's picked one.
Yeah, I would have no objections to Carrie.
Who do you?
I hear a lot. I don't know. I don't really have a pick. I know who I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be Smarmy. I don't want it to be a Nikki Haley type, and I don't want it to be a Tucker Carlson type. I mean, what has Tucker Carlson ever done besides sit there making stupid faces while interviewing people?
That's a funny one. What Tucker Carlson did to piss me off was get all of the January 6 tapes and not release them.
Yeah.
That pissed me the fuck off because we're still fighting that fight.
Yeah, they're all playing games. And I typed in the chat earlier, all the world is a kabuki theater.
It is. It is. And I want that America wants a leader. America wants someone to save the republic, our side of America. It's fascinating to me that Carrie Lake would come right out and talk to this guy. And Jim DeWitt or Jeff DeWitt, whoever Jim DeWitt is, I'm sorry. Jeff DeWitt, when she said, these anti-American fuckers that want to destroy this country and words to that effect, he did not go, oh, come on, you're being outrageous here. You're being this, you're being that. He did not object to any of her statements. He didn't defend it. He wasn't an apologist for the globalists. To me, in a candid discussion back and forth, he would have said some shit like, that's bullshit. Stay out of that. This has to do with this little item or that little item. We just need Arizona to calm down. He could have said any fucking thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just shows the nature of the complicitness that these people have to the system.
He wasn't going to argue it. He is totally complicit with her state. I agree with you there.
Yeah. But don't you want the money? Name your price. I mean, that's
your price. Thank you. That's what he fucking said, right?
Yeah.
And that's when she said 10 million, 20 million, $1 billion. The answer is no.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, that kind of goes back to a conversation you and I were having a little while ago too. Where we said everybody has a price, and until that offer is made to you, you don't know what your price is. Now, this guy basically offered her a blank check. I mean, she could have said, "Give me $1 billion," and he could have gone back with that and then come back and said, "Oh no, they'll give you $100 million," or whatever. Right. Gotten into some negotiations,
but she offered an amount that she would be willing to sell for.
Yeah, and she didn't even try to fill that check out, which is very, very impressive and very rare these days, I think. So,
yeah. Also, knowing she was recording it and knowing she was going to use it to burn him, her price could have been $100 million, but we'll never know because she played the fucking game and said 10, 20, $1 billion. No fucking way, not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be all a stage thing to make her look good in Trump's eyes to get him to select her as the VP too. I mean, yes. We don't know that that's not a game, that this wasn't some, set up or staged or conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Jeff,
I always gotta be skeptical about everything.
Jeff DeWitt has got to go to prison. It would be shocking to hear that it was staged and fake, and it was a bluff to get people to out people. That would be interesting and shocking. But this Jeff DeWitt has resigned. He was the Republican Arizona leadership, and right now Arizona is a fucking awful place to be.
Yeah,
it's got from the county at the county level. The Democrats openly lying and breaking the fucking law. The attorney general, the governor, they're a bunch of fucking perverts and a bunch of radical rainbow, kid groomers, and they love it. They're open about it. They're sick fuckers in Arizona. And then you got the Republican leader going, "Hey, name your price. We just want you to shut the fuck up."
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really honestly hope that she was genuine, and that was a genuine situation. If I tend to believe that if he would have not resigned, I may tend to believe a little more that there may have been something staged about it. But I mean, if he resigned already that quick, and it would further convince me that it was genuine if charges were pressed against him.
Well, that's the next step. Who's investigating? Who's pressing charges?
Well, they should have plenty of liberal prosecutors willing to take up that task, right?
Well, he's a Republican, and they'll get points for that, to call the Republican Party corrupt.
Right.
And yeah, you bet your ass it's corrupt. So is the Democrat Party. We fucking know that. There's no doubt about any of that.
Oh, there's no doubt that the majority of both sides is corrupt.
Yeah. I would say 99% of the Democrats and probably 85 to 90% of the Republicans.
Yeah.
Or if it's 75% of the Republicans, the other 25 are a bunch of fucking cowards.
Yep.
And they won't say anything. They won't stand up. They won't object. Or they're just fucking stupid. Well, Kevin McCarthy, our fearless leader. You can't say queerless leader. You have to say fearless leader. Told us it, he explained it, and so we can understand it and grasp the idea. It's
yeah. I mean, how long have they been talking about investigating over an impeachment?
Well, Mayorkas, Biden.
Yeah, I mean, if this turn it around, they were moving full steam ahead with impeachment hearings against Trump.
1 month
on nothing, on made up bullshit. Yeah,
1 month and they were done.
Yeah, and these guys have been kicking this can down the road for what, 6 months at this point, probably,
and gotten nowhere.
Yeah.
Where, nowhere. Fucking people. Anyways, man.
All right.
It's interesting.
Go back to your monologue. I'll see if I can find any more questions in here.
Okay. Thanks, man. All right, folks. I just picked on the Republican Party and basically all Republicans, but let's pick on the Democrats. An ethics complaint has been filed in the House of Representatives. Pelosi, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and many others have been accused of repeatedly misusing funding, money. Are you surprised? I'm not. Nancy Pants has been bulletproof on this. She flew Air Force 3, whatever the fucking Speaker of the House gets, all the way to Taiwan at a time when China was threatening war, serious war. The dumb bitch flew the plane in there, put the entire nation at risk to go talk to a computer chip manufacturer, and took her son with her. She took her baby Hunter with her. Unbelievable. Well, Nancy Pelosi was also in the media today, and she started, how do we say this? If it wasn't criticizing, it was attacking Donald Trump's cognitive disorders. And then she started confusing Trump with Biden. Let's go, Brandon. So she says Trump doesn't have his marbles in his head, cognitive disorders. But then Nancy, demonstrates she's having cognitive disorders and confuses Donald Trump with Joe Biden. And the two aren't anywhere near close to each other. But if there's anyone with absolutely cognitive disorder issue, it would be fucking Joe Biden, President of the United States. The man is a walking catastrophe when he can manage to put one foot in front of the other and not fall on his face, which he's done several times. Standing on stage, wondering where to go, having to have someone walk up and while the mic is hot, say, "It's this way, Mr. President, let me help you." Getting lost, having to have a handler literally direct the old son of a bitch. The Democrats, folks, they are so bankrupt. Understand this. They are so bankrupt. They don't have a candidate worth a shit that can stand up to Trump or DeSantis or to Carrie Lake. This is incredible, folks. Get this. One of my least favorite Obama advisors was out shooting his mouth off today, letting us know how much trouble the Democrat Party is in. Who am I talking about? Oh, well, let me tell you who I'm talking about. He's bald. He's black. He's actually very intelligent. He is an overt communist. He is not dumb, folks. He's just decided he wants to be a fucking communist. You know the man as Van Jones. He is a CNN commentator. But he is having some trouble with Joe Biden. Uninspiring, fragile is how Van Jones has described him, I guess. He says Joe Biden should lock down in his basement during the 2024 election cycle. That is precisely what Joe Biden did in the 2020 election cycle. Unbelievable that Van Jones would come out and say this. Unbelievable. But believe it, folks, it is real. He says there's something wrong. You bet there's something fucking wrong. Now, I think Van Jones coming out and saying this, stating the obvious, there's something wrong and that Biden should stay hidden. They don't want Biden to drop or announce that he's not going to be in the race because then they've got a lame duck president and it makes them look weak. What I think is happening, and this is my best guess, is they have picked a candidate to replace Biden. And this falls right in line, folks. It falls right in line, sadly, with JP Morgan's strategic analyst who said Michelle Obama will step in sometime after Super Tuesday and the election and will be put up as the nominee by the Democrat Party. I think what they're basically doing is they have Michael Robinson is in the bullpen. If you know what that phrase is in baseball, before they bring a pitcher out, they're like, oh man, the pitcher we have, they're hitting on him, they're scoring. We need to get someone in there. We can go another half an inning or an inning. They call out to the bullpen and they start warming up their pitchers. See who can come out. I think they're warming up Michael Robinson, AKA Michelle. You notice that a lot of times they don't even give her a last name. It's just Michelle. What is she, fucking Cher now? She's so famous she only needs one fucking name. Right. Anyways, I think that's what's happening. I think they're starting to groom Michael Robinson. Isn't that an appropriate fucking term for these people? They're going to groom him to be her and be a political candidate. I hope Trump took my advice and probably the advice of everyone on the planet and start doing opposition research. And they need to find out for certain that she is Michael Robinson. And he doesn't need to wait until Super Tuesday or October and have it be the October surprise. It needs to come out right away that he's a transsexual. If that's the case, it needs to come out right away. Not because a transsexual couldn't be a great president, but because we've been lied to repeatedly for years by the Obamas, by the Democrats, by the media, by the doctors, everyone. And I don't want to fucking hear it's private. Well, okay, if I had surgery in the hospital, everyone would know that it's private. But everyone would know I was in the hospital. And I think name changes, by the way, are a matter of public record. That's right. If you want to change your name, you have to make it a matter of public record, whether you change your first name or your last name. And if you get married, you change your name. It has to be a matter of public record. I think that would be pretty much a indicator that doesn't require any HIPAA violations. That needs to come out pronto. And I'll tell you what, if America loves a great tranny, then bring it on. Then Trump can make comments like, Michelle, I don't think you have the balls to take on the Russians. Yeah. Nope. The jokes would be off the hook. I would love that just for the fucking jokes. I really would. But yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle. It's now your turn to take a shot on the Prepared Mind channel. All right, Mr. Uman, I know Orlando has let me know he's got a couple of surprises. And Chin Music, Chin Music says, being a former news anchor, he's speaking of Carrie Lake, says, I wonder how much dirt she has on them. That makes it kind of interesting as a question. Investigative journalists. Number one, my belief that journalists have journalistic integrity is at 0%. It's below 0. It would not surprise me a bit if in the world of journalism, they get information on political candidates and they themselves say, look, you're going to pay me some money to shut up. Now, in this case, Carrie Lake has got control of the information. It's out there, portions of it. I think she's smart enough to use it properly. I really do. How much dirt? I don't know. But hopefully it is it's enough. I just got all right. I cannot put that on the internet. That was really fucked up. Chin Music sent a video of Trump throwing a football and it hit Michelle in the groin, and you can see the schlong wagging back and forth. It's a meme. It's out there already. That means it's coming, folks. It's coming. That was fucked up, man. Thank you very much for that mental picture. I'll sleep well tonight. Okay, Mr. Uman, who wants to step up next? We got James Nicholson. He says, everyone has a price if they have valued loved ones. Put a price on them. This really is an incredible question because I think about it myself. I go, how much money would it take if, let's just say, pick a fucking corporation, one that I don't like, Walmart, Target. If they said, how much money is it going to take, John, to make you go away and stop talking about politics? What if they offered me 10 million? Now, and I said, you know what? No, fuck you. It's not a big deal. What if the FBI said, John, we're going to pay you 1 million to shut the fuck up and go away? Well, it's 10 times less than what Walmart offered, but it's the FBI making the recommendation. What if it was the CIA who got a hold of me and said, John, we're going to give you $100,000 to shut the fuck up forever? How would you like that offer? Well, the CIA, I think, is probably even lower than the FBI because they actually have overt communist leadership, Brennan and others. Okay, now you see the difference in price, Mickelson. Between Walmart could offer me a lot more, but it would probably be a lot less if the CIA said so, right? Because, well, if Walmart says it, they could have some of their hired guns and goons come and get me. Same with the FBI, same with the CIA, right? The more powerful the mafia, or shall we say organized crime person is, the less money they have to offer. So again, everyone has a price. Now, I want to take you back to the American Revolution, the founding fathers, those who signed the Declaration of Independence. The story is that they all were badly injured, and they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their families on their decisions. In other words, they understood that their property, their money, their gold, their silver, their businesses were all at risk 100%, including their families, valued loved ones. This is where we all need to realize, folks, that we're all in this. We're all in this. Now, there's an old joke, and I love this fucking joke, so I'm going to tell it. Man dies. Not a good guy. Goes to hell. Satan meets him at the gates, and he says, hey, come on in, man. We got a great deal for you here. I got 3 doors for you to choose from. So he opens the door to the first room, and there's people in there, standing on their heads. 3 inches of shit. And the guy looks in there, he sees all these people standing on their heads and 3 inches of shit. And he's like, man, 3 inches of shit, not doing it. And so Satan goes, okay, let's take a look in this next room. And there's people there, 6 inches of shit, right up to their nose, standing on their heads, the whole room full of them. And the guy's like, that's even worse than the first door. So then Satan goes, okay, let's look in the third room. Well, there's 18 inches of shit in the third room. The guy's like, man, that would come up to here on me, my chest. But they weren't on their heads. They're all standing around drinking coffee, chatting. And the guy says, I'll take that room, Mr. Satan. And he goes in that room. Satan shuts the door, gets himself a cup of coffee, walks over, starts talking to some people. About 5 minutes later, the door comes back open. Satan goes, all right, everybody, break time is over. Back on your fucking heads. And so the point is, right, America doesn't realize right now we're standing in 18 inches of shit. It sucks. But hey, we're not up to our neck. We're not up to our chin. We're not over our eyes and shit. But we could get turned on our fucking heads pretty quick. And then, folks, then we're covered in shit in the place we don't want it the most. Understand that our families are already compromised, James. Our families, our fortunes, our lives, our entire fucking country is compromised. Hell, James, and I'm not picking on you, James. I'm just using you because you brought up a great topic. We're being told they're going to take every fucking thing from us and we'll like it. And you'll get to eat bugs. Even fucking chickens. in a commercial chicken processing and egg growing plant. Do not eat the bugs. Even fucking chickens get cornmeal. But we're going to eat fucking bugs? See what I'm saying? That's what we have to look forward to. If these cocksuckers, and that's what they are, get their way. Everyone has a price. If they gave me, James, $1 million and said, shut the fuck up, they could just as quickly take that $1 million back. So what good does it do? They could have given $1 million, $10 million, $20 million to Carrie Lake, and the banks could expose her. They could expose her and Jeff DeWitt and take her all the way down. And the more money it is, the bigger the takedown would appear to make both the Republicans and Carrie Lake look bad. It's a weird fucking world. Tell you what, someone walk up, give me $1 million in gold bars, and we'll watch behind every tree, and I'll point out every single FBI agent. Because that's what you got to expect from these fucking people. There ain't no free lunches. Okay. Orlando's got his question. He says, John, considering today's world, if you were at the creation of the Constitution, how might you have suggested improving it to prevent what is happening today? Well, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 wouldn't be there as it is now. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17. Shit, my Constitution's out of reach. It says that the United States government, Washington, D.C., exercises exclusive jurisdiction over Washington, D.C., all forts, arsenals, dockyards, magazines, and territories. That would be amended, changed, so that, yeah, they may have exclusive jurisdiction, but they do not get to operate outside the restrictions and boundaries set up for the Constitution with respect to the people in the state. In other words, January 6 protesters would have their constitutional rights in place. Additionally, for the Constitution, I have another suggestion. The concept of treaty law wouldn't exist in there as it does today. A lot of people believe that treaty law supersedes constitutional law and restrictions. It would say much more clearly, with respect to any treaty, if ratified, it doesn't become law of the land. It becomes a law with respect to other nations and other nations only. And words to the effect would be, shall have no effect upon states and their obligations to observe and protect their citizens and protect themselves, the states themselves and the people. And no treaty shall be passed that affects the people of these United States in any form or fashion. Now, if given more time, I would put more fucking restrictions in there. That treaties would have to do with allies and war, economy, etc. Because government has demonstrated if you don't fucking restrict them and make it crystal clear, they'll start to make up little rules. Another one, the long arm, the long arm concept, long arm of the law. Anytime there's interstate commerce, the federal government will exercise exclusive jurisdiction. Well, that was set up in order to make sure no state or states could pass a law, make a rule to punish other states. It was set up so that interstate commerce was regulated. And once again, the word regulated means is practiced well practiced, normalized. Okay. Not regulated meaning they're going to put red fucking tape all over it and charge people taxes and tell you in one state that you can't do business with someone else in another state without paying the fucking government exorbitant fees, and then also, right, having to succumb to additional laws and restrictions. We see that with the Second Amendment also. A gun manufacturer thinks that, well, if it's going to manufacture firearms and sell them in other states, that the federal government now has jurisdiction over the subject matter. Shall not be infringed will mean shall not be infringed. And finally, Mr. Orlando, I could go on to this for hours if I was fully prepared, but you did surprise me with this question. If I could change just one thing, it would be to add something completely new that is missing. And that is to say that any government official, bureaucrat, employee, contractor, anyone working for the government directly, indirectly, quasi, or in any other manner, violates the rights, privileges of any American or group of Americans, that person, whoever violated them with rule, restriction, regulation, law, statute, etc., is guilty of violating the rights of others and will be held accountable as a felony. If I walk up to Uman and commit fraud, steal from him, injure him, stop him from traveling, enjoying his property, right, I go to jail. The government does that. They steal your property. They steal your money. They don't go to jail. They're like, oh, yeah, that law says that. And now that the law has been proven wrong, sorry about that. Sorry, everyone. Sorry. In other words, there should be a criminal penalty when public officials are held accountable. They to even promote the idea of passing a law that violates the constitutional rights of others, you go to jail. In other words, our rights are preeminent. They supersede and are sovereign to the United States government. Therefore, an attack on any of us is an attack on all of us, and it's a crime. Okay, enough of my shit. That's what I think, though. All right, Mr. Uman. Barking Wolf Spider. Things are getting real interesting down in Texas. And Chin Music says, yes, they are. We have two sides with guns in a standoff. This has the ability to get out of control quick. All I can say is if the feds attack our state guys, they won't be left out to dry. Meaning Texans will come to the aid and assistance of their countrymen, meaning other Texans, the Texas National Guard. I was talking to an attorney today in Texas, and I made a crack about wire, secession. The attorney didn't think I was very funny, by the way. You know what? Good. I don't fucking care what attorneys think. I let them have it, though. Things are getting nasty. Chin Music, brother. You might be at the forefront of a shitstorm, literally. Please feel free to call me on the phone if fucking firing starts. I want to be one of the first to report it. If I get that call, if that happens, if we have a standoff with guns blazing between Border Patrol or any other federal agency and Texas National Guard, Texas troopers, or Texas Rangers, I want to know about it. I'll get it out instantly in a fucking live broadcast if shooting starts. And it very well could. I don't doubt it. I give it a 10% chance that shooting will start. That someone will do something stupid. I'm not saying Biden will order it. I'm not saying that Governor Abbott or Ken Paxton will order it. I'm saying people are fucking stupid. And if anyone is just demonstrated time and time again that they are that fucking stupid, it would be Democrats. And since Democrats are ordering the Border Patrol to take action anyone who would follow those orders is a fucking sellout and probably also a Democrat. And so they are that stupid. They're stupid enough to start a shooting war. Stranger things have happened, folks. Stranger things have happened. Chin Music said, this stuff is an hour and a half away. When I know, you'll know. Well, I'm glad you're that far, and I'm also kind of sad that you're not closer. Not because I want you in it, Chin Music, but because I want timeliness. If it happens an hour and a half from you, you're going to hear about it as quick as if you were a block and a half away. Or not. I don't want you anywhere near it, man. I don't want anyone near it. I don't want this shit happening, but here we are. I just know that good people are good people, and they're there where they're at for a reason. So there's a reason, man. You're an hour and a half away. I want you to hear about it right away, but be safe. You know, I wish I was there. I wish I was right there at that fucking park. I wish I could have my spotting scope trained on it and be watching it 24/7. I don't want to say I would do anything wrong. I would make sure that those that were there understood my opinion. Anyways, it's a very sore subject for a lot of people. There's a lot of fear out there. Don't be afraid, folks. You want change? You want things fixed? There's a lot of watering of trees that needs to happen. Now, I want to talk about this topic of mine real quick. It has to do with the media again. Has to do with saying what you should say. About when you're given an opportunity and you're in the right place, you say it, you do it, you take action. On Fox News, there's this gentleman named Charles Payne. He's a really, really big guy. Smart, articulate, but he looks like a dude you could have a beer with. His name is Charles Payne. So Fox News host Charles Payne, he went on and exchanged, shall we say, argument with Jessica Tarlov. And he basically just laid it out the way it is. Joe Biden, folks, hates Trump, and he hates us, Trump supporters, America supporters, even more than I think he hates Trump. Now, excerpts and portions of this story I've taken from Gateway Pundit, and I've spiced it up with language, prepared mind style. So the female Fox reporter, Tarlov, she opened it up, the conversation with Mr. Payne by bitching that Trump has, quote, an uncontrollable narcissism and rage about him when he feels insulted. Well, Brett Baer, also of Fox News, looked over at Mr. Payne, and he made a comment. And he said he thought it was mainly a New York thing, mentioning Payne's experience. Mr. Payne grew up in Harlem. But then the sniveling Fox reporter at Tarlov interrupted him by claiming the country was at stake. If President Trump returned to the White House, the country is at stake. Well, Payne was not having any of her chicken shit sniveling, and he turned the tables on her, folks. He said it was time to close down the bullshit and identify the real asshole and the real issue. This is what he pointed to. Biden's sick hatred of Trump. Biden's sick hatred of Trump supporters and how devastating it was to America. He specifically mentioned he recently did a search on Biden hating America. Biden hating America. Biden hating MAGA. And he says it was filled with countless articles detailing Joe Biden's hatred of Trump and Make America Great Again supporters. And those comments, folks, coming from Biden included his threats of using the military and the F-15 and F-16 fighter jets to slaughter us. The internet's full of all that. So, after making that statement, when the female Biden ass-licker tried shitting on Trump some more, Charles Payne used some curious facts. He said, quote, Biden's vitriol and hatred for Make America Great Again is far worse than President Trump's individual battles with someone who crosses him. That is something that is really detrimental to this country. Speaking of Biden attacking all of us, he says that the president of the United States, meaning Biden, despises half the United States. Isn't that interesting? Nothing but article after article. He has expressed hatred for half the country. That's what Charles said. So then Tarloff, trying to sound smart, says, who was writing those articles? And Payne, he intelligently responded, it doesn't matter, because the bottom line is he has vitriol for them. And so does MSNBC, and so does CNN, and so does the New York Times. They have vitriol for half the nation. They don't look at them as fellow Americans. Well, let's see. Little Miss Tarlov's mouth opened, but no words came out. I think she might have been gagging on a scrotum-like substance she had for lunch. Well, Payne continued at that point, quote, and it's unfortunate. They try to paint them as racist. That's us. All the things that they do to their fellow Americans who simply want a safe home, a safe community for their prosperity. They, meaning Make America Great Again voters, they want the same thing that mainstream media and Biden want. But they demean them all the time, meaning they, mainstream media and Biden, demean us all the time. Now, to help you understand or remember who Payne is, he's this enormous black dude you see on TV who uses intelligent language. He used to do financial investment reporting on TV. When I watch Fox News, I don't know exactly what he's doing now, but he was always entertaining and smart. And if my memory serves me, this is the guy who carried a briefcase as a kid in Harlem. That was his lunchbox because he wanted to be a businessman when he grew up. And he got harassed and probably beat up for it until he grew bigger than them. He's huge, right? And ultimately, he succeeded, folks. He's successful, and he became a TV news star without kissing Democrat asses. Carrie Lake was in the media, right? Charles Payne is in the media. He might get fired over this. Who knows? But this type of shit needs to keep going. We need the Carrie Lakes. We need the Charles Paynes. Right? We need the fight that's happening in Texas over the border to happen. Everyone says, why don't we do something? And then they do nothing. Right? I just named two people that are individually stepping up and taking a chance and doing some stuff. Well, they're in positions of power and authority, right? A TV star and a politician / news anchor. I do think that we do matter and that we do talk to people, family, friends, coworkers, and that you can text, write, email your congressman and tell them, hey, we're watching you. We're watching you and you, right? We, us, we need to call these people. Tell them we're watching you, all of us. Do what's right for America. Live up to your oath or get the fuck out of office. Looks like a lot of them are just leaving office, though, are they not? Sure seems like it. All right, Mr. Uman, let's get back into it. I'm running out of time. I know the show's gone long. It's been crazy. Who's your life? 67 steps up and he says, Uman, if we have an uncivil war, what are the chances of a global partisan uncivil war? Well, here's how I look at this. Let's just say America went into civil war, so did Canada. Well, the people of America would be busy fighting for their lives and then for victory and their rights. People of Canada, they'd be doing the same thing and wouldn't care about us. Is it possible that it could happen? That the entire world, not just Canada, America, but hey, how about Europe? You know, Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, Austria, Poland, Hungary, Romania, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Scotland, England, Ireland. It's possible, folks. All through the Netherlands. It's possible. That's all I know is it is possible, but it's not likely. Now, imagine, though, if America went into civil war, and so did Canada. Canada being a smaller nation, let's just say they finished their shit up first. And the people who want freedom lost. Would Canada send assistance with their pro-government, no-freedom fighters down into America to help the U.S. government in certain states? Could we end up with uncivil war conflicts within our states? Could Illinois have a problem because the rural people say enough of your Democrat shit? What about California, New York, Texas? Could those states have an internal conflict that can only be settled inside? And how would it be settled? Right? How do you stop a barroom brawl? How do you win a barroom brawl? Let's just imagine all 48 states, right here in the continental 48 states, we broke out into civil war. And each state fought for control of its own capital. Well, what if 35 states won on the freedom side, right? And 13 were, Democrat socialist winners. Would we be obligated to go into those states and finish off the fucking communists? Or would we say, hey, look, you live how you wanted. You fought your war and you have a right to self-determination. Interesting questions lie ahead of us. I know these are all very extreme topics, by the way. Very unusual, very odd, very difficult. But if I had been told 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that the federal government would be promoting the idea of our country being invaded by not only Mexicans, but people from around the world, especially military-age people from countries that we don't know because we're not checking IDs. And if I was told that the federal government would be involved in child sex trafficking to the extent that there are lists, extensive lists with politicians and businessmen and military on it, and the government would hide it from us and those people wouldn't be prosecuted. If I was told that the President of the United States' son was involved in accepting bribes and actually naming his own father as a recipient, a beneficiary of these bribes, the big guy, I would say there's no kind of world that would tolerate that bullshit. An invasion, child sex trafficking by government officials, open bribery and extortion by executive figures and their families. I wouldn't have believed it. So when we talk about uncivil war between people in a state, between states, between countries, it's possible. What a freaking mess, huh? Well, we're past an hour, so I'm going to check out. I need more rest. Going to give the voice a chance. I know there's a lot more questions and topics. Let's hang on to your thoughts. Let's keep our eyes open. Let's see what happens next. It has been a heck of a What the Fuck Wednesday. I want to thank you guys for showing up. Chance favors. The prepared mind is yours. Semper Fi, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and a means of self-defense. What else do you need?